anti-missile batteries.
The United Nations reported that a massive explosion at Ukraine's main Omadid Children's Hospital in Kyiv, which killed 2 people and injured over 50, including 7 children, was likely caused by a direct missile strike. Russia has issued an arrest warrant for Yulia Navalnaya, the exiled widow of the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
The country accused Navalnaya of participating in an extremist organization. A court stated it had approved the request of the investigators.
Attorneys for Hunter Biden have withdrawn their request for a new trial in his federal gun case.
Hunter Biden's legal team had argued in a filing last month that his convictions should be vacated because the trial commenced before a circuit court.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee, and hot.
Forget what buttons to
My
push.
dog is your mind's best friend.
Boom, boom.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
All right, are you laughing? I don't hear you laughing. Boring. Another boring, dopey show. One more boring, dopey show after one boring, dopey show after another. Good morning, folks. I see that some guy from Pennsylvania is loading more derogatory crap in the back end here. But in my back end, I could feel it a little bit in my back end. It's a rainy, dreary, but hot and humid day here. Today is Thursday. Feels like a Thursday. July 11th, 2024. It's my stepdaughter Sarah's birthday today. Happy birthday, Sarah. It is also Mikey's, I'm calling it 70th birthday, but it's really his 63rd birthday. Mikey, the lead singer of the Rockin' 45s, Mikey does not allow people to post on his timeline on Facebook. So instead, just show up at his house. And we'll have an impromptu party, pool party at Mikey's house tonight. Okay? All right. So happy birthday, Mike. Today was the day that Donald Trump was supposed to be sentenced in a New York court, but that has been postponed till September 18th, I believe. So kind of a letdown there. I was looking forward to watching Mikey's faces. His favorite cult leader got thrown in the slammer, potentially. Not happening. So I'm already bummed. Today we have Lowry and Mary. Coincidentally, not even close to the same spelling, obviously. Lowry begins with an L. What am I saying? Well, Lowry is a long word and Maori is a short word. Figure that one out on your own. I'll let you contemplate that while I tell you what we're going to talk about. Lowry, K. Lowry, is going to talk about finding your healthy weight, happy weight, healthy weight, happy life, healthy at a healthy weight. That's what we're going to talk about, and not being ashamed of being a fat bastard like me. There it is. I'm already off to a bad start here. And then Maori is a guy who teaches stand-up comedy as a way to deal with bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, stress, and just wanting to put a bullet in your head. So we'll deal with all that as it comes. Now, the stand-up comedy stuff, maybe he could, I don't know, if he could just like rework these guys I have in the back end here. And again, my back end is kind of full today. I need maybe a laxative might help with that. But maybe he could just, but here's the thing, like, what's his name? JD Wong back there. He signs up, he spends money on like a Barry Katz stand-up blueprint, and then he is just so confrontational and so hard to coach or teach that he doesn't get anything out of it because he's unteachable. He's just like so cocksure, and I say cocksure with a emphasis on the cock, of course, that he is right about everything. Oh, I can't be wrong about anything. I'm unteachable. I know better than everybody. Yeah. Okay. So there's very little chance Maori's going to be able to help him. Dave Maori, by the way. I just got caught up with Lowry and Maori. I'm sorry. But last night, now it's been going on for 2 weeks, but last night, all the Democrats came out and suggested that G.D. Fenderson step aside. He's no longer fit to be a co-host on this program, and he should make room for, I don't know, maybe somebody who, one of these illegal immigrants ready to take a black job or something. Anyway, so let's get the show started with a rousing commercial of, now this is, if you've not noticed a pattern lately, I'm just playing Daily High Club, because Daily High Club is the only sponsor that is registering or with the fans. The fans like Daily High Club. Go figure, bunch of fucking stoners. Hopefully Steven will be a little more sober today. And I want to talk to him about this. I smoke for pain. Yeah. Listen, you're not going to lie to me. I've been smoking weed my whole life. It's longer than your grandfather's been alive. It doesn't ease pain. The only pain it eases is the pain of not being stoned. Anyway, look, I'm already angry. You see me angry? This is why I need to get high daily.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Yeah, get this party started now. No.
Come grab my piece. I swear to God, Randy, I'll tell you to your face.
Randy. Oh.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous JD Wong.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you celebrating Guten Sporenslag? And you can't find your golden spurs? Well, come to Mind Dog TV and get all of your Day of the Flemish community of Belgium needs. Our phlegm comes in many colors and is made fresh daily. MindDogTV.com.
Let's try this again. And here they are now, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous JD
The fabulous
Wong.
Baker Boys.
Oh. Wow, that was like a blooper stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh, I've concluded. Go on.
That was really not necessary at all. Are you now, Stephen? Are you sober today? Are you close to sober, or are you gonna just bullshit me about this pain thing that you're talking about? I smoke for pain. I smoke
I
for
do
pain.
smoke for pain, 100%.
No, you don't.
I think
I
he's
do.
saying pay. I think he's saying pay.
No,
Not
it's for pain because it's
PAY.
either marijuana or it's like opiates.
Well,
You're smoking opiates?
No, God.
People do.
Because you said it's either marijuana. You're smoking for pain. It's either marijuana or opiates.
It's either marijuana or I go into like pain management and get like oxycodone and
Well,
all
that's
of
not
that.
a good. That's not a good thing. But I would just say you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
No.
Listen, because I said when it was medical marijuana here only legal, I said to the whatever doctor, she wasn't really a doctor even, who certified me that I had chronic pain. But you could smoke everything I have ever had, and it won't alleviate physical pain. It just doesn't. It doesn't work on physical pain. That's a lie. That's a good lie if you only have medical marijuana.
It depends who you are. Even my doctor suggested it.
Yeah, my doctor did too because they were making money off it.
Oh, Indiana doesn't have medical. But they still suggest it.
All right, Ron and JD Wong, back me up on this. It doesn't work for pain, right? Right.
I have no idea. I've never smoked it for pain. I've only smoked it for pleasure.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, I've smoked it for pleasure too, but
the truth comes out now.
No, hold on. I've never said I didn't smoke for pleasure, but I smoke daily. I smoke daily throughout the day for pain. Yes.
It doesn't work. You're still in pain. I could tell. Look at your face.
I'm always in pain, but it's a lower degree of pain for
Doesn't
sure.
work. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's the final thing. Doesn't work. Why you get me angry?
Well, it's hard to argue with the guy who was there when it was invented.
I was there when it was invented. I watched as cavemen said, "Leaf, smoke, leaf."
It just makes you wonder what they were thinking when they discovered, like the first guy who ever like farted. You know, like I had to scare him. Like the first guy who ever barfed. You know.
I think that doesn't get me. I'm not so much worried about that as I am about the first person who decided to light their fart. That's the one that I want to know.
Had to be a scientist.
That was J.D. Bick.
J.D. Bick.
He was testing out his new invention. And what else? What better way to do it? He's got an endless supply of fuel.
It would make sense that a black guy would make it because it's the #1 stolen item on the planet besides Bibles. Bic lighters.
I don't think a black guy invented the Bic lighter, but I do think that Bic stands for butt incinerating. I don't know what the C stands for. Butt incinerating can or
contraption.
Contraption. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boy, that was the worst team effort I've ever seen. Well, the result of the worst. Whatever.
But it does go to show you. But it does go to show that I can work with other people, even if it was a bad result. I can do it. See?
No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm going to actually ask Mallory to take you under his wing, bring you out, and teach you stand-up comedy from scratch.
He can't teach me stand-up comedy because he only works with people who are bipolar. I am like
no. He also works with people who are unipolar.
I'm quadpolar.
What are you?
Unipolar.
Quadpolar.
I bet you are a unipolar. You nasty.
So, Ben Shapiro was in front of Congress. Ben Shapiro went in front of Congress to complain that he's not getting any advertising dollars because he talks to his nose really fast. He talks to his nose really fast. And this is
poor
something.
Dr. Dreidel.
The problem, this is not really supposed to be what our government does. Not supposed to be selling ads for people who have $50 million to offer Steven Crowder to do a YouTube show. I don't think if you're going to sell ads, sell it for me. The guy who basically can't even pay to have decent comedians on the show every day.
No, you get us for free.
Yeah, I mean, and how dare you besmirch the keynote speaker at all these conservative man camps of Ben Shapiro? How dare
Dr. Dreidel is a national treasure, and we should respect him.
I thought Charlie Kirk was that guy. Now I thought Ben used to be that guy, but because he just talks no, he kind of gave himself an aneurysm.
No, because if you get too much,
Kirk's the popular one now.
Good, Ron. Sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say if you get too much wet ass pussy, you have to lay down some cat litter while you have sex. That's all I'm saying.
That's true, because according to Dr. Dreidel, if it's not dry, you ain't doing it right.
I did not know this. See, this is why I rely on you youngsters to keep me in the know.
Oh wait, I have something for Matt.
I saw that. It's derogatory and shaming the whole thing.
Yeah, his hands were soft and supple.
Oh, soft and supple.
His hands were soft and supple.
Wait till Maury is the guy who wrote to me and said that every time he hears the word,
he's gonna be trashed as soon as he gets on here. Just from that,
it looks like Lowry is already late. We were going to talk about healthy and healthy weight and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I do have a new sponsor ad to play. If you like
more derogatory stuff, go ahead.
Why do 70% of tequila lovers describe the experience as a sensual journey? Let's explore what makes Napos Moist Supple so irresistible. Tequila isn't just a drink, it's an adventure for your senses. Picture this. The first sip of Napos Moist Supple caresses your tongue with a silky sweet warmth. Then a wave of saltiness playfully tingles your taste buds, making you crave more. As the flavors unfold, you're transported to a place where inhibitions fade and pure pleasure takes over. It's like having a delicious secret shared only between you and the glass in your hand. The supple texture and rich taste will have you questioning if anything else can ever compare. But beware. Once you've experienced the wet, tantalizing embrace of Napos Moist Supple, there's no going back. Are you ready to let your taste buds explore the sultry depths of this exquisite tequila? Pour yourself a glass and let the adventure begin. Cheers to the journey.
A little bit low on the volume there in video, one of our sponsors where you can make stuff like that. But
I want some Matt Supple.
The opening image,
Supple.
The opening image that said "iStock" by Getty Images. Now, if I let that stay, I'm going to have to edit that out. If I let that stay, Getty will take my house. They are very aggressive about people who use their images without licensing it, and they will send me basically for that image, and this has happened before, this is how I know it, they'll send me a letter that says you owe us $30,000 by the end of the month. Pay up or shut up or die. Getty Images.
Didn't they hit you when I used a Getty image for my background the one time? Didn't they hit you also?
I don't know.
Or it was a watermarked image, but yeah, I think you said they got pinged and had to take it down.
That's why I don't use watermarked images. I mark all of my images with P.
You know, I knew you were gonna say something like that. It was either gonna be P or you jizzed on them, one of the two.
I'm not wasting good jizz on images.
So talk about weight loss. Talk about the good relationship with food and healthy weight and healthy life, healthy weight, and all that stuff, because that's what we're supposed to be talking about right now. Even though the guest, who was only brought on this program because she was in a Facebook group that said it's about being a guest on podcast, saying that she was getting no response. I said, well, you're welcome to come on mine, and she was delighted to do that, and now she's not here.
She probably got a better offer.
Up at 10:15.
Oh no!
Well, she would understand. It's no time zone difference unless she's on the road, because she lives in just outside of DC in Maryland.
You know that? I don't know that. How do you know that? You did research.
I don't
you
know
did research against the company rules about doing research. We have strong rules about doing research.
I don't know that. I believe that based on. I don't know that. I believe that based on her profile.
Unless you're supposed to do that when she's here in the interview, not before.
I'm an amateur filer. I don't get paid to file.
An amateur filer. I see what you did there. You
I
silly
have
biscuit.
to end on time today, and on time I mean 11 o'clock, not 11:30.
You can leave them what the fuck you want. We know how to turn the show off.
You do? If you want, you could go all day long if you want to do that. You guys.
No, I did that by accident last night. I used up like 22 gigs. I left the room for a minute and forgot to come back in and turn off my Wi-Fi. And it just kept looping the same thing over and over and over again.
I had a show last night, and at the end of the show, I played the music, and then I brought I thought we were off the air. I brought the guest back in and said we're off the air, and was having a conversation with her, not knowing that I did not end the stream and it was still going.
Well, at least you had a live show. I know a guy once who did a whole show, thought he did a live show, and he didn't hit live twice.
I know that guy too.
He didn't know, and he did a whole show without an audience because he didn't know.
The only other time that has happened, thought I ended the stream and didn't end the stream was when Eric Roberts was on, and fortunately, I got him saying, "You're a great host," as he does. I like that. So I have that clip now of just Eric saying, "You're a great host."
I had 45 people last night watching me play a cowboy video game, which was really weird. Streaming.
Yeah.
Super weird, and they all watched, and they were there for about an hour and a half. Just watching me.
If it weren't for the doom that is approaching for all of us, I would say that your generation is definitely doomed, but we're all definitely doomed. But this idea of just watching
it's not my generation. I'm taking advantage of the next generation.
No, it's your generation.
His hands were soft and supple.
Right.
Yeah. Don't get supple lippy with me.
I just don't understand watching other people play games. I can understand playing a game yourself, but watching somebody else play a game for an hour and a half, that feels to me like a waste of life. You don't get so many
depends
hours.
on the game. I mean, because sometimes the games are like movies. Like I played this last Harry Potter game, which plays out like a whole movie. So people like that. This cowboy one is fun because there's a story, but also they can hear my voice. So I'm just doing voiceover because my character doesn't actually speak in the game, and it's fun. So I get to make it fun and stupid, and
Yeah, like my kids grew up on that where they would just watch people play other games, and from like Twitch to YouTube.
That generation is doomed. They're doomed to watch other people do things.
Watching your parents have sex while role playing is not like watching a game. That's not the same thing, and you shouldn't have made your kids watch. I mean, I love you and I love Laura, but I don't think y'all's rendition of Harry Potter and the Golden Goblet was what your kids needed to see.
I'm not comfortable with all this love going around here.
But isn't doesn't everyone say that? Like every generation is doomed. There comes a point where, I don't know, that generation, like it's like time stamped, and all of a sudden it's like they're doomed. The music, the games, everything.
Well, like if you what's crazy though is that I'm making a few dollars off of playing the games and people watching. Like I'm not making like bill money, but I've made like $57 this month on people watching, and I have 2 people that pay monthly to watch my channel without ads. So,
wow,
something.
You know what? We used to have a term for them when for those people. What was it? Oh, losers.
Yeah, because like they used to. What's the new term for them?
Waste of life. I don't know. Basically, what we're talking about is people who are working minimum wage jobs, slaving for minimum wage jobs all week long, so they can come home, and give it to you so you can play video games.
Hey, my one subscriber is a sales manager for an RV company. He works for more than minimum wage.
Oh, he makes $35,000 a year easy.
No, he makes $90,000 a year.
That's what he says. That's what he says.
While he stretches out fully nude to watch Steven. as he rubs the Jergens all over himself, lighting a candle only to remember the tough day that he's had.
While I fight the KKK and Red Dead Redemption 2. Damn right.
It seems
Shoots
like
out the lotion and starts rubbing his hard member in in hopes that Steven will see him to
Are we
satisfy
reading
his.
Penthouse Forum letters? or
Ron, I
something?
need you to calm down. I can only get so hard, and we're on camera.
He touches himself and says,
I'm
to
here, I need
Steven,
a
"Now
towel."
make him step in the cow patty. Make him step in the cow patty."
So she's
Well, you can do
10,
that. You
10
can
minutes
hunt.
late.
You
Should I email Lowry? You think I should email Lowry and say, hey?
I'll wake her up. She's in the other room. Hey, Kay.
Send an email. Oh,
hey, Kay. Matt said, "Wake up." No.
All right.
She's wore out. She can't.
I would
no.
Leave the show to you guys while I do this email, but I'm afraid that when I come back, there won't be a show.
It's like a Warren.
It'll be all right. We got it.
Catcher's mitt.
There'll be a show, but it'll be totally demonetized.
All right. So
Ron's Penthouse Forum in the morning is what we're going to call it.
So while Matt's gone, guys, who's your favorite historical racist?
Well, it wasn't Matt until he left. He's history now. He's
Are we
history
talking?
now.
Are we talking?
I could still hear.
Well, let's say modern era. Let's say 1950 and newer, because I don't want Hitler in there because
Then Matt's brother. Matt's brother is definitely one of my favorite racists because he's got new nicknames for me, and every last one of them starts off with the word dark. No,
I like Tucker Carlson. That one's one of my favorite racists.
I think some of my family members are mine. I mean, just the way.
Oh, I guess I do have my grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah, because they can easily bring it out at any time, and they love to say it just so casual, like just casual conversation.
Oh yeah, my grandpa will be like, "Man, have you seen the weather? How about them N-words lately?" And I'm just like, "Whoa, grandpa."
I don't know if I can say she was my favorite racist, but it was my first wife. And she was black. Just for the record, she was black. But she had some of the most deep-seated hatred of black people, covert deep-seated hatred of black people that I'd ever seen. Because she was fair-skinned. She looked like she had some Indian in her, but she could have had anybody in her, as far as I know. I mean,
My grandmother was dating this black guy for like 10 years, right? We called him Grandpa Honey, is what we called him. And
Grandpa Honey?
Yeah.
Like the sticky stuff?
Sure, yeah. But the craziest part is how much he hated black people. He did. He was dark. I'm talking like Nigerian dark, but he hated black people. He did, with a passion. All the time, we'd be in public and he'd see a black dude with a white chick and he'd call him out.
So
and I'm sitting here like I don't even know how to react because my grandpa is black saying this stuff, but I'm also a white kid.
So
I don't know what's happening. And
you said he's from Nigeria. Where was he from?
He was just Nigerian dark. Like he
Nigerian
wasn't
dark.
brown. He was black. He was black, not brown. Black.
Oh, so he wasn't like first generation African or anything like that. I mean, he was.
If I put him next to you, you would look like Carrot Top.
I feel like Nigerian dark is a racist thing to say.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. There's. It's not.
It absolutely
I promise
is. You've been smoking too much painkiller.
I mean, I'm 54% Nigerian.
On, you can't say that because I'm not smoking. I'm not smoking like oxycodone. That's terrible.
I'm sorry. Because you're black.
Well, the reason why I asked is because back in the day, real Africans did not have much respect for United States blacks. It was just we weren't real black people to them.
No, but
some of that has changed, but not much.
I use the term Nigerian black, because I've heard that phrase used by other black people. Because there's mocha colored, there's caramel colored.
You're not black.
No,
What other black people? You were in Indiana. Was this in Alabama? Which was this in Alabama?
No, this is in Indiana. There's plenty of
There's
black
only
folks
two
here.
black people there. You can't go by what they say. They only go by they've learned their blackness from the internet. They don't know anything about real blackness.
We live.
Hi.
We live close enough. We live close enough to Chicago, okay, that we have an influx of all the different shades of homies. Okay, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Why? Let me just.
Plus, my wife's brown. I can't be racist.
Let me.
No, you can't be racist. You can be racist.
Why are there so many LG? What is LGBOs? Why do people say that Nigerians have light skin? So this Nigerian ducks.
Maybe it was the other country that I'm not willing to say.
They are Lobo or have Igbo. Why are Igbos?
Now, see if that sounded racist coming from you, Matt.
Does my skin tone really matter? An explanation of why I'm so light skinned, blah blah blah. It's all about Nigerians with light skin. The reason I bring that up is because I've had a number of Nigerians on the program, and they are lighter.
Well, hold on, maybe I'm thinking
somewhere in between me and GD as far as skin tone. And you're saying Nigerian dark is definitely.
You see, that's why I question him, because to be honest, real black people don't say that. We refer to it as Wesley Snipes dark,
right? Because
we know Nigerians come in all. We know that Nigerians, real black people know Nigerians come in all shades, but Wesley Snipes only comes in one shade.
Yeah,
nightshade. That's it.
I was.
Then how come?
Ron is speaking.
How come Nigeria? How come Nigeria is on a list of top 10 countries with darkest skin?
Hey, Ron is speaking. Don't ever overtalk Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was just going to say I was on a flight coming back from Dallas once.
All right, we don't want to hear that.
And I was sitting with this lady, and there's a row of black women behind us, and they're just talking and just being women. And the lady leans over to me as we're talking and stuff. She's like, "I'm not racist, but they know this isn't a movie theater, right?"
Oh no!
Well, was it popcorn? Because if there were popcorn, they might have been confused. Wow, this is a weird. He's not kidding. He means every word. So I had it wrong. Lowry is not the lady from Facebook who was in the Be a Guest group or whatever. She was booked by her publicist, and her publicist screwed up. I probably didn't tell her the time zone. Now she goes popping in at 10:15. I'm just going to say, hey, that's what I'm.
Hey, Kay.
Does that work?
Kay, you didn't screw up. It was your publicist.
Right. So the reason I have to end at 11.
Your wife's out of town, isn't she? I'm telling her.
Yeah, she's coming out. She'll be back tomorrow night. I have to pick her up at the airport.
You don't have to pick her up at the
airport. No, I do.
You don't?
No, I do. Believe me, I need help with this.
You could commit suicide and then just forget everything. That's what I'm saying.
I'd feel bad if I committed suicide.
We wouldn't.
No,
that's not
that's true.
Hold on. JG Wentworth, it's not true at all. I would feel bad. I'd miss you.
Wait.
Thank you.
What were the initials there? On
JG Wentworth.
Oh, JG. All right.
Yeah, his hands were soft and supple.
They've helped thousands, they'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will pay to you.
All right, calm down, Stoner boy. Now, the reason I have to end at 11 today is because I have to get to the VA to do 2 shows. And I just realized this morning that I don't want to do these 2 shows because they're not what I thought. When I signed the contract, I was assuming it was building 192, where building 192 basically there's a rec aid, and I walk from room to room and play like 1 song each. And basically, if you could get a long way with just having 1 song in your repertoire because you're just going from the room. You could do the same song for everybody, and they wouldn't. But
so you get to the room where they go like, "I hate that song. It brings back memories," and they start shooting at you.
Well, then you do it in a different language or something, or you play it backwards, or with satanic messages in it. They don't know, but turns out I am playing 2 shows unplugged in the psych ward.
Okay.
No, not okay. Not okay.
Them's your people,
Nope,
man.
not okay at all.
Will you be playing "Crazy on You" by Heart?
They're coming to take me
Or
away.
maybe crazy, or maybe Crazy Train.
This is a good topic to bring up because in the contract you can't play any songs that allude to anything mental illness, sex, drugs, drinking. Like,
What are you doing?
leaving
Old gospel hymns? Like that's all that's left.
Don't worry, be happy is all I got.
Well, what about Star Spangled Banner? Can you do that one? You could do like the Star Spangled Banner, America the Beautiful. You could do the Black National Anthem, but just don't do the
America.
You do Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
They don't like America the Beautiful. They like God Bless America, which I do, even though I'm against it.
Happiness is a warm gun. Can you do that?
No, you can't say warm gun. You have to say like warm puppy.
No, and then there's the heroin part of that song where I'm going whatever. I need a fix because I'm going down. That was Lennon fucking stoned out on heroin. So no, you can't do happiness as a warm. You can't do anything. You can do don't worry, be happy. Be happy, don't worry. You're happy.
Don't worry about your happiness.
I'm happy you're not worried. I'm not going to worry about being happy. That's all you can do. So I have to do 2 shows, two 1-hour shows in 2 different sections of the loony bin. I got the loony bin from Ian. It's the psychiatric wards, loony bin. But it's generally they lock you in a room this size with like 5. I want to say loony people, 5
Looney
patients.
Tunes.
Yeah, and it's behind a double secure, double locked door.
So they're safe, but you're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're worried about.
Dude, that sounds horrible.
Right. If you because I've had it done where I've sang the wrong word that sent somebody into a violent frenzy. It's just a weird gig. I would have said no to this, except I need the fucking money.
Just bring a guitar that you don't like in case you got to use it as a weapon.
This is the worst thing in a VA that you could do is the psych ward. And I did it. I signed the contract thinking it was the place I really liked doing.
When this is back when I was in high school in our psychology class. Was that psychology? No, it wasn't. It was through the psychology class, but it was it was our musical group, our course group. Our course group, and we were touring we're doing a gig at a psych ward, and we were doing the songs from The Wiz, and I had the Scarecrow parts, and the lyrics and the words, not just the parts, but I had to sing his words, and so. There's this one line where it says "Ease on down the road," and I walk on and I'm dancing down the aisle, and then I say "Come on," and then I turn around and I start dancing back up the aisle, and people got up and started walking behind me and following me back up the aisle. And I didn't know until I turned around because everybody else is like their eyes are like this because a bunch of people got up and started dancing behind me, and I turned around, they're like right there in front of my face.
Now, can you give us a little set? Can you do the part from
The Wiz?
The Wiz, yeah.
You would get demonetized, wouldn't you?
No. Go ahead, do it. That would probably, if anything, it would be monetization sharing with whoever wrote The Wiz. Come on, let's see.
Come on, do it.
Let's see your little dance moves.
Do
come
it.
On, sing and dance first. Dance.
Do it.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Do it. Call yourself an entertainer.
Really,
I am
right?
an entertainer.
Well, I put that
not like Cedric. I'm a real entertainer, not like Cedric.
I put that picture up because when you started talking about playing in a mental ward, that's the first thing I thought about. The Cramps playing the California State Mental Hospital. That was like late 70s or something like that. And there is video of it and it's like horrific video because it's, like
the 70s.
Yeah.
I have done magic shows in Dementia wards, which is a whole different experience.
Why would you do that? That sounds
But-
like you're just messing with them on purpose. Like they have schizophrenia, you're making shit disappear. They don't know if they're having an episode or enjoying the
on them.
show.
They asked for it. The
God, that's
rep
horrible.
director asked for it.
Well, that hospital let a surf rock punk band play a mental hospital, and there was no limitations on the material or anything like.
What
It's
the
fucking
fuck?
insane.
Well, I think Green Day's Basket Case video was based on that. That cramps in the California State mental.
But the funny thing is to think about them maybe doing a song like "The Crusher" in a mental hospital because the song just starts out with him going rape, and it goes right into the song.
So man, have you ever done magic
It's about crushing someone's head while they're dancing?
Hey, Uncle Zolar, where'd you get your name from?
I figured I would just change it today because yesterday I was Meth Cunham, so today I'm second Uncle Zolar.
Well, I thought you were reviewing some of the past Mind Dog TV digital broadcasts because Zolar was an alien that came to the guy who made contact with Zolar was a science and history professor at a college in California somewhere, but he wrote a book about this 9-foot alien that he met on a mountain named Zolar.
What the fuck?
Which was, I think last week I told you guys about John Russell, who was telling me that's a psychic I'm not allowed to have on my program. I wasn't allowed to have some. This was one of the guys he was complaining about. You can't have him on. He's ruining it. He's ruining my shit, my scam. You can't have these people ruining my scam. He didn't say that.
No, man, I was chaperoning a load of children on a field trip. This was when my niece was in elementary school, and I was a chaperone, and so to keep the kids busy, I started doing I don't want to say magic, but I'll just say hand dexterity with coins and stuff like that. The illusion of them disappearing and rolling them across the knuckles and stuff like that. The worst thing you can do with children is something like that, and then they go again. It's like, again.
You never repeat a trick anyway. But I guarantee you on the second time, it's over there. Get the fuck
And
out.
why did the magic show just take place in a closet, GD?
That's all. It didn't take place in the closet. It's just that that's where the kids disappeared to. It's like, okay, one more time. I'm gonna make this kid disappear. Ta-da! And in the closet.
So I have a
but what if you do it in a mental ward and then you make a kid disappear and be like, he's gonna follow you everywhere? You just can't see him. Poor guys are gonna fucking freak out.
I have a tale from the land of Ron Kane. It's somewhere up in Pennsylvania, there off of I-80, somewhere within about a couple of hours of New York. I don't want to mention people's names, so I'm being a little careful here. Well, somebody I know who's a landscaper, he has a friend who's also a landscaper, and told him there's a pizzeria up the block where the woman and her husband, when owned the pizzeria together, the woman hired this landscaper to dig a hole in her backyard, gave him the specifications of the hole and the size of the hole, and he's like, this feels like I'm digging a grave for somebody. Turned out the woman had killed her husband, and he was in the house for almost a month. A dead guy in the house for almost a month, and nobody noticed it. But she was planning on just throwing the husband in a hole in the backyard, and thought she might get away with it. Now, when the landscaper went to the cops, he basically said, I think I just dug a grave. I think the lady just hired me. And they went and investigated, and they found the house. But my thing was, that body had to stink, not just in the house. It had to stink up the whole neighborhood. A dead body in a house, it's going to go through walls. It's going to go through counties and all that stuff. How
yeah.
how did
What
you
if she
get
had
away
it in the tub covered with lye?
You'd
Or
have
baking
to
powder.
have that
especially if
that
especially if this was
mob mentality
summertime.
of a 55-gallon drum, and you put them in with all the stuff that's going to dissolve and the lye and the. But
Could
even
you put
that,
them in could you ball them up and put them in a baggie, a big bag, like a trash bag? Just
I
fold
think it
them
would.
up.
I think it would. I
You
think it
know,
would go through that.
some people say grave. I say shallow flower bed. That's all I'm saying.
A worm food repository is what it is.
Dude, I found a body in the summer hanging in a garage, and that smell
You
that
got to be
sticks
on
with you
Christine's
forever.
podcast. Christine Levine has a podcast called Found Dead. I'm on that podcast, but
Oh.
she's looking for people who have found dead bodies. So you would be good for that.
My
Oh
grandmother.
yeah. Oh, quick plug, by the way. I was featured on the What a Man podcast last night. The episode debuted, and
I saw it. No,
doing
it
pretty well.
debuted 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. I saw it. I saw it earlier in the week.
Oh yeah,
It-
yeah. It was she was debuting pieces of it here and there, and I think the whole episode.
no, I thought you sucked on it, but it's fine.
Was that the thing you
thanks,
sent
man.
me last? Was that the thing you sent? That video you sent me in the
No,
messenger?
that was Pornhub of Bigfoot fucking a
Oh,
gun.
because I couldn't play it. I kept trying to play it. It wouldn't let me play. So I didn't know if that was it or not.
Bigfoot fucking a gun.
Yep.
From yesterday's show.
It was actually Bigfoot fucking a 44 Magnum because he was feeling lucky, punk.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, my grandmother lived in Baltimore in a row home, and we were visiting her one day, and it was just this smell coming through her walls, and like no one knew what it was. And come to find out, her neighbor had died like 3 weeks prior, and
Oh.
they found her sitting in her chair. A little bit rigor mortis and some rotting set in
A little bit.
And man, that smell is something you never forget.
It doesn't. It
it's
sticks in your sinuses for like a week.
Yep.
It's horrible, man. It's
I
the
know
worst.
it well. That's
I know
enough
you know
for
it,
that.
Matt, but oh man.
We smell it every day on this show.
It's funny. I feel left out because I've only seen fresh dead bodies. You know, like they yeah.
There's that smell again.
There's something about abusing a corpse that just makes some of us happy. You know?
Whoa.
Oh, you know Kurt? I haven't seen Kurt in 20 years, and that's a good thing. I hope I never see Kurt again, by the way.
He may have a lawsuit against you.
Now, that wasn't a news story up by you, Ron. You didn't hear anything about this pizzeria woman killing her husband and leaving him in a. You would think that would be on the local news, or maybe you just don't pay attention to local news. Ron,
I think he's.
And the steer got loose, and it went on the interstate, and it was running around all these parking lots yesterday. That was the big news in our area.
Wow. We had a cow escape, and the cow was on the loose for like 30 days or something. They couldn't find this. Like, how do you not find a cow running around the fucking neighborhoods? That was last summer, I think it was. But
yeah, the thing I sent you last night, GD, was Joe Biden calling the Secretary of NATO an intellectual wigger.
Wigger, right?
Yep. And then there was.
He did not say that.
No, it appeared like he did. And then there's another one where it almost sounds like he's saying "I fucked your wife" to a prime minister.
That was accurate.
Yeah, that one looks more legit.
Of intellectual rigor is not. I mean, people are going way out of their way to.
It's so weird that we're seeing the decline of two elderly guys. Like Biden's decline is different from Trump's decline because Trump's just out there like going even more like old man-ish, worse old man-ish. And so it's like every day you have to decide which one had the worst old man episode that day.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're gonna stress me out, and I'm gonna have to consult Maori on how to get rid of this anxiety and stress. Maybe I'll stand up.
You seen the
Smoke
news
weed; it's good for it.
Hey, you seen the news yesterday that political god George Clooney asked?
Oh yeah,
asked Biden to step down.
I
No,
think he's got something to do with his wife. Honestly, I think
I think we need to accept that
always the
Biden's
woman.
probably not going anywhere till he dies.
Because isn't Clooney's wife Palestinian?
Yes. Isn't she
I'm
some
just saying. I'm
state
just
of
saying.
Middle
A lot of Palestinians are a little they're upset with the way things are going with Israel and stuff like that, and Biden is helping Israel. So I think
no.
she.
That ain't it.
No?
Well, Clooney just raised $14 million for Biden 2 weeks ago. He was
Right.
on, and he's still on the administration. He thinks the administration is fine and their policies are fine. He's concerned that Joe's an old dude, and my thing was I was on that going back to 2020. I literally thought he promised to only run
He did.
one
He
term. He
did.
didn't promise. He didn't take a pledge. He had his people go out there and suggest it to the news media to placate people like me and make me believe that he took a pledge. But he never took a pledge to run just once. He had the people go out there and float that
But
out
I feel like in the world of politics, that might as well have just been him saying it, though.
Yeah, well, it's not the
Because when you have,
might as well.
I know it's not the same, but I mean, when you're running for office and you have people representing you in certain situations, I feel like if something like that is still said, it's still at least a few degrees of separation, but still basically said.
No,
by
they did it
campaign.
with the intent of making me feel comfortable with voting for Biden.
Right, it was
but
misleading.
He never had any intention of doing that. And that kind of dirty trick has been going on in politics forever.
Yeah, but now he can.
It's also possible that he was sincere, but just because he thought Trump would never run again.
Just about to say that maybe he was with the threat of Trump, winning. He was like, you know what? Maybe I'm the best chance. I'm going to stick it out.
Well, if that's true, and I'm not,
or he can spin it that way.
Possible. That's possible. But if that were true, then the administration through Merrick Garland, and first of all, Merrick Garland should have been let go 3 months into the administration if he was not pursuing the case against Trump. Merrick Garland dropped the fucking ball on this. Trump should not be an issue at all. Trump should be in prison already.
Yep.
Except for Merrick Garland being a fucking Heritage Foundation shill. But so if that were true, that Biden really thought or had the intention of that, he should have fired Merrick Garland and got somebody with a pair of balls on them, like Hillary Clinton, in that Attorney General's office within months after.
He should have had Kamala Harris appointed AG.
Should have, would have,
have her wear two hats.
Right. So
Yeah,
I don't think he really did. Maybe just didn't have the wherewithal to call Garland and say, "What are you doing? What are you doing? We got fucking Shitler on the loose over there, and you're doing nothing."
I am in agreement that if if the Democrats are out here saying everything is so dire and things like that, it is time for him to step aside and fucking win this thing in November, because it can be done. Because Trump has his base, but no one's excited about voting for him. And honestly, I think if you told people we might have to go with a worn out shoe that's been cummed in and shit in and pissed in as president, people go, you know what? I'm going to take my chance with the shoe.
I'm going to disagree with you heavily on nobody's excited about voting for him. Mike Shavola right now is whacking his cock.
No, I mean,
I can't wait to vote for Trump. I can't wait to vote for. I can't wait. Trump.
Well, yeah, I mean, that large gay group of men for anal getting anal.
I've seen him do it. That's why
yeah, I mean,
I believe you.
Yeah, I understand that men for anal getting anal is very excited, his core base. But once you get out of that realm, most people are like, ugh.
All right, I agree that I can't see anybody who was anti-Trump thinking, oh well, I'm not. They're running Biden, I have to vote for Trump. I can't see one person doing that. Yes, and continually, and they're not shutting up. More people are getting on the bandwagon now, so I think this thing is instead of dying down, getting ahead of steam. But Sherry Jacobus, I always have trouble with her last name. She pointed out also all these polls that Biden is actually up 3 on the Electoral College if you look at the complete way of. And I asked, is RFK being included in any of these polls that all these fucking pundits are putting out? Because I haven't seen him being included in that. And she said, well, he has no chance of getting any electoral votes, so no. And my question is, doesn't his ability to take votes from either candidate affect the number of electoral tally for either of them? And it does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, especially in.
I still think
especially
it's going to be a blip. I think it's still a blip because most people don't give a fuck about him. Yeah, you have your small, he's got his small group of followers, but I think more people are concerned about the two big guys.
73,000 votes is what got Trump the 2016 election. RFK has about 13 million diehard people who are in his corner. As far as signatures and people who are working for his campaign, he can definitely shake up the Electoral College. Again, you're talking about where those votes are. They need to be considered in any of this polling shit that is saying Trump, Biden, whatever it's saying. They need to at least consider his effect on 13 million people, 13 million votes, where they are and how they come into play, because he can definitely have an effect on the tally of either one's electoral.
Well, and the other thing that's still looming out there is all this Project 2025 shit too, because that is a good sell to keep anyone from voting conservative. Because why are you against living your life? I mean, you're talking about like porn bans and all sorts of shit. It's scary shit.
None of the Trump people are going to read it, and if you tell them what's in it, they'll call you a liar. And a big part of it is, well, it's just talk. They're not really gonna follow up on that. And this is what they did with the Supreme Court stuff too. It's like, oh yeah, but there's no evidence that Trump would actually do any of those things. Well, there's plenty of evidence that he would do lots of those things, but they're just willfully ignorant, or willfully not believing anything that.
I don't. When I mentioned that at things I'm doing, shows or mics, people's eyes do light up because they're concerned. Like, this ain't fucking right, and I don't think it matters if they're a Democrat or a Republican. People are really thinking, it's like, this is some scary shit that's possibly in the pipeline.
Yeah, well, it is some scary shit that's possibly, and not possibly, it's definitely in the pipeline. If they win, this is why I wasn't kidding when I said I think we're all doomed in the long run, because I am very, very anxious about the outcome of this, and I think there's a strong possibility it should not even be close. That's the reason, both of these fucking parties. And neither one, if you're in the party, you're not going to say anything about it. You're not going to agree with me on this. But the indication that neither one of these parties can find a better candidate than the guy they're putting out there is a condemnation of their party. This is the best we got. This is our star player. Really? This is your all-star? Give me a fucking break. If that's the best you can do, your team sucks. But they don't see it that way. It's insane.
To paraphrase like Jon Stewart, he made a great point. He's like, especially when he's talking about the Democrats, it's like, this is your chance because people want a candidate that can inspire, can fucking do shit, and not a megalomaniac or an octogenarian like Biden. People
who is that?
They just want a little bit. They just want a little bit. They don't need a lot.
Give me a name. Give me a name.
Someone to come out and be like, "Hey, I'm not dead."
Give me a name. Give me a name, damn it. Give me a name.
Well, to be honest, right now, I am in favor of flipping the ticket so that Harris is on top and Biden's on bottom.
That's a little kinky.
Yeah,
I know, but that's to me that's a fix, because you still have Biden's institutional knowledge, and he can kind of help her along.
I'm going to get some institutional knowledge today if that's what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, and if not Kamala Harris, since the Democratic Party is basically propped up by a lot of black women, black Democrat, female. If you don't pick Kamala, they're going to be pissed. Now they may still vote for the Democrats because of the fear they have of what a Trump administration will bring, but they will not forget it.
Well, let me just say that I am impressed with Harris. I've followed Harris for years when she was in the Senate, and I thought she was a smart and capable woman. And I actually, in the early days of where the campaign up to 2020, I was on her Twitter urging her to get in the race.
Ian, stop it. That's not true. Stop it.
A lot of people hate her. A lot of people hate her. Even you know, you can kind of guess at some of the reasons why, but even within her own party, she's not the unanimous pick.
Now, I would like Whitmer probably, and
except for she withdrew. She withdrew her hat. Now,
yeah, she's totally in the Biden corner.
Right. She's out. Instead, she did not rule out 2028.
No, I think publicly right now, she's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, there's a big difference between what politicians say in public and in private and all that stuff.
There's definitely had to been conversations, because I think the only thing they're waiting for, they can't decide whether or not like Harris carries so much risk and like hatred for women will persist. But then at the same time, I would love to see her on a debate stage with Trump and see Trump fuming that he can't say anything racist to her.
Yeah,
I would love that. And someone, because there should have been a candidate like I said, when Trump said black jobs, it should have been just like in Tropical Thunder. It should have been like, what do you mean black jobs?
Backup singer, man.
Exactly.
Well, I'm getting depressed with all this stuff. Well, unfortunately, Maori is here.
We have the news.
He's going to get me out of my depression, but we're going to drink a lot of tequila probably in the meantime. But we have to do news. Let me get through this news thing. I'll probably end up bombing it halfway through, and then we'll meet Dave Maori. Lowry didn't show up. Maori showed up.
And I'll be back shortly after the news, in case anybody misses me.
All right, we weren't going to miss
you. Want me to move myself on the screen?
Yeah, no, we'll just make believe like you're still here because you added the same
right.
value.
Don't watch me walk away. I know y'all like to stare at my butt.
Attorneys for Hunter Biden have withdrawn their request for a new trial in his federal gun case.
Hunter Biden's legal team had argued in a filing last month that his convictions should be vacated because the trial commenced before a circuit court formally issued a mandate denying one of his many pretrial appeals, an argument disputing the mechanics of the trial rather than the merits of the case. Liam White reporting.
Russia has issued an arrest warrant for Yulia Navalnaya, the exiled widow of the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
The country accused Navalnaya of participating in an extremist organization. A court stated it had approved the request of the investigators and decided a preventive measure in the form of detention for 2 months. Limited information about the charges was disclosed. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The United Nations reported that a massive explosion at Ukraine's main opinionated children's hospital in Kyiv, which killed 2 people and injured over 50, including 7 children, was likely caused by a direct missile strike.
Analysis of the video footage and an assessment made at the incident site indicates a high likelihood that the children's hospital suffered a direct hit rather than receiving damage due to an intercepted weapon system. Danielle Bell, head of mission for the UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine, stated during a briefing in Geneva via video link. Benjamin Wright reporting.
President Joe Biden announced what he described as a historic donation of crucial new air defense capabilities to support Ukraine's defense against Russia.
The commitments outlined by Biden include 4 Patriot anti-missile batteries. The U.S., Germany, and Romania will each supply 1, and the 4th will be assembled from components provided by the Netherlands and other NATO members, according to a joint statement. Jim Kender reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
It sounds like the latest crappy music. Come on, Al. Ow. Ow.
A 14-year-old boy was bitten on the leg by a shark while attending a junior lifeguard camp in Florida, according to a local official.
The teen was diving into the water when he landed on the shark at Ponce Inlet in Volusia County. The shark bit the boy on the right calf. The teen was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening lacerations, Jenkins said. Witnesses reported that the shark was a blacktip, which is common in the area, Jenkins added. Jessica Oakley reporting.
No criminal charges will be filed in connection with a fatal National Guard helicopter crash that occurred near the United States-Mexico border in March.
The Starr County Sheriff's Office in Texas has concluded its investigation into the March 8th incident involving a UH-72 Lakota chopper assigned to Washington, D.C. S. Army National Guard. No criminality was found, Major Carlos Delgado of the Starr County Sheriff's Office stated. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A man hiking in the Grand Canyon died after being found unresponsive over the weekend, marking the third death in the national park within the last 3 weeks.
A 50-year-old unresponsive male hiker was discovered on the Bright Angel Trail in the Grand Canyon, about 100 feet from the trailhead on Sunday, according to the Grand Canyon Regional Communications Center. Bystanders began CPR while emergency personnel responded to the scene, but efforts to resuscitate the hiker were unsuccessful. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Senator Bob Menendez's attorney labeled the government's case as cherry-picked nonsense during the closing argument, asserting that Menendez's actions were lawful and normal.
Gold bars and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash found by the FBI in Senator Bob Menendez's home were not given to him as a bribe. A defense attorney insisted during closing arguments in the New Jersey senator's.
My legs.
Well, according to the Supreme Court, if they gave him the stuff after he did it, then it's not a bribe.
No, that applies to them, not to senators. That applies to them.
Oh, I thought it was the bribery rule.
It's the new rule in America. One law for me, different laws for you.
Yeah, I would really like if they would publish what tax bracket you need to be in to skirt accountability in the law.
You have to have a box full of gold bars, or a safe full of gold bars.
Yeah, I mean, Pennsylvania disgrace Scott Perry still has a job, and why is that?
Because you haven't done them in yet. You haven't trolled them in. You don't troll
Ron,
them.
when are you going to run for office, Ron? Just run for office already.
You should ask him if he wants to invest in a pizzeria. In your neighborhood. Anyway, let's move on here. Dave Mowry he lives with bipolar disorder. Also teaches.
I just want to say one thing.
Will you let me finish?
No, because this is about the news. This is about the news, and Lowry's not due for another 8 minutes, right? He's at 10:15. Yeah, so I'm just saying that they talk about giving those weapons to Ukraine, and it's not going to do them any good if they don't let them take out Russian targets inside of Russia.
Well, Dave Mowry doesn't care about that.
He does.
He cares about trying to teach you stand-up, which is like an impossible thing to do. So
I can't learn how to stand up either.
Now, let me finish the intro. You damn.
GD, you dick.
Damn. Dave Mowry lives with bipolar. Now I can't even read it. Dave Mowry lives with bipolar disorder. He also teaches stand-up comedy to folks with mental illness, which, okay, then maybe you can teach GD then.
All comics.
By finding humor in the dark days and the lost years for transforming lives. Anyway, he's here now. Welcome in, Dave Mowry. Dave, good morning, and thank you for being here.
Good morning, guys. Good to see you.
Everybody is just stealing my spot. Anyway.
There you are.
Are you drunk?
No.
Because we've been saying supple all week because of you.
Oh, yeah. I listened to the podcast and it was supple. So,
yeah, no.
We every time I hear the word.
Yeah.
His hands were soft and supple.
Right.
There you go.
You got a shot? Yeah.
I got a shot.
So teaching stand-up comedy as a remedy for bipolar, this is something completely different than I've ever I mean, I talk to a lot of people about dealing with depression in a lot of ways. Meditation, exercise, diet. No, stand-up comedy has never been mentioned in it. How did you get started doing that?
I live, well, you said I live with bipolar and severe anxiety and panic attacks, the whole, she'd imagine I had 14 lost years where I was dark days. I was incapable, unable to work, homeless with the family, all sorts of bad stuff going on. And then I took a stand-up comedy class for people with a mental illness in 2011 and changed everything. I started looking for the humor in my experiences and my dark days, my hard times. And by finding humor in it, it just changed everything how I thought. And so when I was triggered or something triggered me and reminded me of that dark day or a PTSD episode, I said, "Where's the humor in that?" And started writing jokes and then performing. And who knew I had a knack for teaching stand up to other folks with a mental illness, and we go from there. You were talking earlier about you've got a gig at the psych ward.
Yeah, it's something I play regularly, but I'm not looking forward to it. Basically, they lock me in a very small room, double door locked and all that kind of stuff. And the people with also, it's a VA place, so a lot of it is PTSD related mental illness, but some of it is just complete schizophrenia and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah. You know why they keep the doors locked to the psych unit?
Yes.
They don't want Matt getting out.
They don't want me getting in.
Get in.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't want. They
Well,
don't want me in.
I just gotta say, I love your whole idea of using stand-up comedy for, you know, mental health and dealing with it. It's something that my therapist has even advised me to lean into, you know, using comedy blinders, you know, for your life situations to find the humor in it.
Just a disclaimer on that. He is stoned out of his mind.
I'm not.
And we've all been to open mics. We've all been to open mics.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, see the transformation. And one example is Molly, and Molly's chapter 6 in the book. I see the cover up there. She was a doctor, and she was practicing her medicine, and then due to her bipolar disorder, she had to give everything up, and she was lost, and she was sad, and she was suicidal, and she came and she took the stand-up comedy class, and that's all behind her now. She sees herself as a comic. She performs in clubs. She does open mics, and instead of being a failed doctor or somebody who lost all meaning or purpose in life, she's a comic, and she shares her humor about living with mental illness and shatters stigma one joke at a time.
Now, is this done without the use of medication, or is medication still?
Well, people come in all sorts of different. I mean, somebody's on meds and they come to the class. They're on meds. Some people are not on meds. Just depends, wherever they are in their journey. And but healing with humor is humor helps everything. There's some things that just aren't funny, that you can't make funny or talk about. One of them is suicide, but
I've heard good for suicide jokes.
Yeah, I've got a suicide joke. It's one time when things were really, really bad, I decided to end it all. So I went up into the bathroom and I took a bunch of pills. Afterwards, I called my wife for help. She said there are more pills under the sink.
See, that's good.
Wow,
that's a good one. I have one too. It's I want to kill myself, but I can't physically do it the way I want to. I can't reach the pillars to hang myself. I can't jump in front of a train.
Yeah, exactly. I taught a stand-up class
awesome.
to people down at the Oregon State Mental Hospital, and it was a class for people that had been committed crimes and were there except for insanity. So it was a class of criminally insane folks. But anyway, one of these guys, he was in for a white-collar crime, but he constantly obsessed about suicide, and it kept outside the hospital attempting suicide. And so we came up with a suicide joke for him. It's he's getting better. He's getting better now. When he envisions himself jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, he's wearing a floaty.
Wow, man,
yeah, so things are improving.
Yeah, I have one, but it's a lot meaner than that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm starting with the easy one, so yeah.
Well, I've been I'll get up and I'll go. So many comics today, they get up here and they talk about that they're going to kill themselves, and all we're saying is commit to the bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
Kurt Cobain action. Let's go.
I stumbled across Mike Schiavola once, and he was about to kill himself. I said, "Mike, don't do it." He said, "Back off, or you're next."
You're next. That would be a trick.
Well, Mike stops himself from doing it by putting on a Trump mask because he'd never do that to Daddy Trump.
Oh, you had to go there, didn't you? Now he's on his way to Indiana today. He's flying now.
That's fine.
But you know, my story. I mean, I had, seemingly had it all, and then had my breakdown and lost everything. I sat at one point. I sat at a picnic bench at a park and had a gun in my lap, and you know, I didn't do it, but you know, those are the places that you go to, and when you live with a mental illness, a serious mental illness, and you're looking at this sadness and loss and all these kinds of things, and then you can, you know, find some humor in there. You know, I think it changes the pathways in your brain, and it's given me control over my mental illness instead of my mental illness having control over me.
Yeah. As far as when I started doing having comedians on the program 6 years ago, I found that almost every comedian was also a mental health activist. Like, it seems like it's part of the job description. If
I know. Yeah. It fits, doesn't it?
Yeah. The other part that for me is bipolar suggests that depression is not the only part of it, that there is the manic part of it. And I think that can serve you in comedy, the manic part of it, especially on stage. If we look at people like Bobcat and Robin Williams and those people, the manic part of their personality was definitely a plus. And I don't think you'd want to, I don't know, kill that or sublimate it.
Not at all. And you know, it's a continuum, and mania. You get a hypomanic stage where you know things are great, but you're not out of control. And if I could stay there all the time, that would be amazing. When I'm manic, I can sit down and you know the jokes just flow.
Wow.
And you know, in half an hour, they'll just flow, and I'll write 12 to 15 jokes, and you know, maybe 3 or 4 of them are keepers, but it just comes, you know. And
now
so you want to keep that.
Now, when that starts happening, do you lean into that? Is that something like a therapist told you to lean into? Because I know there's this mindset that therapy is gonna break or fix the thing that makes you funny. And I know that with my experience with therapy, it's helped me lean into it and actually do better, in my opinion. So I was just curious if that's something you lean into.
Yeah, I lean into it, and therapy hasn't been particularly helpful for me. I mean, the humor therapy just that I discovered and found and work with, that's been everything. But speaking of bipolar and the mania, and it took me a long time to, you know, with mania you get hypersexual, and with depression you're you know, you can't move. And so but it took me a long time before I figured out how to tell whether I'm manic or I'm depressed, because when I'm depressed, I spend all day trying to get out of bed, and when I'm manic, I spend all day trying to get my wife into bed.
Or somebody else's wife.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for my best.
I don't go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's me, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a guest on my evening show last night. It was all about depression, and not bipolar, is whatever it is, bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
How you label these things. But she supplemented, you know, she first realized that she was having symptoms as a young girl, but she wasn't officially diagnosed until she was in her late 20s. And I think a lot of people, especially comedians, it seems, self-diagnose and never get official diagnosis of what's really wrong with them. And sometimes it can be a physical thing that is causing it. There can be so many parts of this, but there's also, you know, I think labeling yourself as a person who gets depressed or is clinically depressed can be a dangerous thing if you buy into it and you really have what is situational depression. In other words, if you lose your job, your wife leaves you, you have a very good reason to feel sad and call that depression, but it's not depression. So you know, I think having a official diagnosis from a medical professional is helpful, unless they're a total fucking quack.
Yeah, and there are quacks out there for sure. But yeah, and comics, I think, and now I consider myself a comic. You know, I do shows, and I mean, go figure. You know, I mean, just go figure. My life, I'd never thought, this never crossed my mind. But you know, we spend a lot of time in our heads. That's what we do. You know, we're in our heads. We see things. You know, I was listening to the news headlines, and you know, those were all great setups. I mean, each headline was a setup.
Well, that was my hope and intent, but basically, you see three comedians zone out at the minute I start playing. I'm like, this is a perfect setup for a joke, but they're not interested. Ron wants to go look at his feet, and Steven wants to go smoke whatever he's got left in the bowl, and GD is just thinking how much he hates Barry Katz and wants to go fight him or something.
Well, you know, you had the 13-year-old white kid that jumped into the water and landed on a black-tip shark, and Black Lives Matter hit the streets and protested.
Well, black
I mean, that's just, you know, that.
But my question, and this isn't like a joke thing. This is a serious thing. If the shark bites you, you're in the salt water, which stings more, the shark bite or salt water being poured into an open wound?
I think I can answer that, having been bit by several sharks. The shark bite.
Loan sharks don't count because you didn't pay them their money back.
And generally I'm the one biting. I'm biting them in the forehead. Or forehead. But if you notice in that that story, they said those black sharks are common in that water. They're common in that water. Like you're teaching a class in a body of water where you know sharks are common.
Yeah.
Like where is the thought process there? Let's go teach lifeguarding where they're going to get eaten by sharks.
Yeah.
That was part of the lesson. That was part of the lesson. Was okay. What do you do if you're bit by a shark? All right, you go. What do you do? No, screaming does not help. No, bad. And you don't panic. Don't panic. The shark will just bite you more. Okay, calmly. Okay, you've been bit. Calmly swim toward the boat. Calm. That's not calm. See, that's what you do.
There you go.
It's part of the class.
All right.
There you
go. Dave, what part of the country are you in?
Portland.
Oh,
just outside of Portland. And actually, the town I live in, it's called Happy Valley. Which
that's Portland.
Seriously, I live with bipolar and anxiety and depression, and I live in Happy Valley. But Happy Valley is really a misnomer. There is no valley.
No valley, and nobody's happy.
So everybody's happy. Yeah.
Portland, Oregon, then.
Yeah, Portland, Oregon.
Okay, I don't think there's any place called Happy Anything in Maine. But.
I don't think so either.
Let's face it, nobody cares about Maine.
I care about Maine. I have family there. Okay, stop it.
No, you don't.
Stop it. I have family there.
No, you don't. They're all flying. They're all flying to Maryland tonight.
Tomorrow. My wife's not in Maryland. My wife's in Canada right now, not Maine.
Oh, well, that's important to the program.
It's important to me. Know where my wife is.
Yeah. So Portland, quite a happening comedy scene out there. Yes.
Medium, but yeah, there's lots going on. You know, the open mics. I used to do open mics, but you know, mostly the audience for open mics is other comics, and you find other comics sitting back in their chair with their arms crossed that can make me laugh. You know.
Yeah.
And rough crowd. So I don't do open mics anymore. But and there's clubs. Yeah, lots going on.
Are you I'm assuming you're booking yourself and taking care of getting your own gigs.
Yeah.
How's that? Is that fun?
It is, because you get to pick and choose and ask the right questions. And a lot of what I do, conferences, events, fundraisers, that type of thing. Some 40 people, some 400. It just depends on what's going on.
Yeah, it would seem to me that for what you do and the way you position your comedy, there'll be a big corporate opportunity there. Because they love people who can have a topic that feels like it can benefit the lives of their employees. So they feel like we don't have to give them a raise. We gave them a comedy show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I talk about. Well, I tell my story, one joke at a time, and it's the setups. Well, you guys know, the setups are always the truth, based in truth, and maybe the hard part or the biggest challenges, and then the punchlines are the fun part, the creative part, and the surprise, and people laugh. They don't know whether to laugh to start with, and I make them comfortable, and then pretty soon they know it's okay to laugh, and they're having a blast. The people that enjoy it most are people who've either had a diagnosis or live with somebody with a mental illness, or a family member, or touched with a mental illness somehow. I mean, it's such a huge relief for them to have some humor surrounding that, because it's so tough for so many people.
Do you still consider yourself having bipolar disorder, or do you think that do you consider it like something you're past or have under control?
Yeah, it's always there. I'm treated. I take meds and I make sure to take care of myself. I got to get enough sleep. Just some of the basic stuff. So the highs aren't as high as they used to be, and the lows aren't as low as they used to be. So I'm pretty maintaining in the middle, but yeah, it's always there. It's always there.
Have you considered ketamine therapy?
Not ketamine, no.
We say not ketamine. Mushrooms.
I did electric shock therapy.
I was going to ask about shock collars, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah, shock collars. It worked pretty well. So I got my own electroshock therapy machine. It's called a taser. So now when I get really depressed, I just tase myself in the head.
Wow.
Yeah. Other people want to do it, so I'm thinking about charging.
So please tase me, bro. Please tase me, bro.
Bam.
I made the mistake of buying my wife a taser for Christmas, and I've been shocked. I've been shocked at the results. Yeah, it wasn't. I have one right in front of me. I bought myself one just for self-defense after like a month
against his wife.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That was the point of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, can depression strike? Because you can be on the way to a gig, and then depression hits you. And what do you do then? Do you go through with the gig?
Yeah. It's it's tough, but the show must go on, and the worst part is if when the depression hits, I'll get the anxiety, and then it slides easily into a panic attack. And when I have a panic attack, I just I start sweating. Sweat runs down my face and soaks my collar and my back, and my eyes get fuzzy, and my heart's pounding, and so I'm trying to work through it. And I found the only thing that really helps at that point is to just say what's happening. So tell the crowd, look, I'm having a panic attack. I'm sweating. I'm doing all that kind of stuff, but I'm among friends, right? And they say yes and clap, and then I can make jokes about.
At that point, you got to whip out a gun and say, yeah.
There we go.
And see, my approach is slightly different. When I have panic attacks, I say to the audience, "I'm having a panic attack, and the only thing that will calm it if I get a blowjob real quick and I whip it out."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that works.
I'm gonna
So
use that.
when the
No, you're going to tase me for that. See, you ain't even going to wait for me to finish.
I know. Well,
you never let me finish.
So how do
you never let me finish?
So how do you overcome the depression then when you're on your way to a gig? Because I know, for example, like when it hits me real bad, I get the feeling like I don't even want to go on stage. It's gonna be a shit show from start to bottom. You come up with 101 reasons why you can't do it, or when you get there, why you're not gonna be able to go up, or maybe a reason just to turn around. Like, how do you overcome that? Because I know for me, it's just once I get there and they call my name, it all melts away. But up to that point, sometimes it's almost unbearable.
Again, let me just, before you answer that, just the disclaimer that he's too fucking stoned out of his mind to even realize he's feeling those things. It's afterwards when he's saying, "Yeah, I was kind of depressed last night," when he wakes up. But all right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know it's. I mean, what you're talking about is awful. I mean, it's if somebody doesn't live with it or hasn't experienced it, it's indescribable how it feels, and just having it happen. One thing that helps me is just to be as loud as I can be, because when I get depressed, my voice, I go into monotone and muscles in my face go slack and I talk softly and stuff. So I have to be really conscious to be as loud as I possibly can. And,
I love
that helps. That helps.
I love that. I have a very similar method. It helps a little bit is I'll find my favorite music, something that I know the words to, and I'll just jam and sing as loud as I can on the way, just to try to flip the switch, just to flip that switch to like I'm pumped and ready to go. Because like you said, it's a really indescribable feeling of when you're not feeling it and you just don't want to do it. Like it's really hard to beat that. So I love that. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one. You're not the only one for sure.
I occasionally have anxiety and shit like that, and like almost not panic attacks, but I power through it, and I just ride with it. And sometimes I've been on stage when it's like, it seems like, oh, this is going to be impossible, but then I just tell my brain, I'm like, shut the fuck up, we're doing this. And then I just roll through the anxiety, and then it's over.
I think just for the record, Ron, you weren't talking to your brain. You yelled that at me. You said, "Shut the fuck up! I'm doing this."
Well, you look a little like his brain. To be fair, his brain is very dark and has weird hair growing on it. So.
His hands were soft and supple.
Very supple.
So Dave, the sheer fact that you talk about having a panic attack and owning up to it to the audience, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a person who runs a comedy workshop, and he saw one of my videos. In the video, I mentioned that I say to the audience, I'm nervous, but it goes on to a really funny joke. But I say, I'm really nervous. I'm nervous all the time, and I go through this. And it gets a laugh every fucking time. But this individual says, you never do that. You never tell the audience you're nervous. You don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do. And I just let it roll off my back.
Let me talk to one of my cats named Barry.
It's like, obviously he missed the part where everybody laughed.
Yeah, exactly. And it depends on how you do it. I mean, if you get up there.
I'm really good at it. I'm really good at it.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah, I've listened to the show.
You just break down and start crying and go into the fetal position on stage. Oh no!
Well, I do that when I talk about the circumcision. That's when I ball up in the fetal condition.
If you totally break down and do the fetal position on stage, call it improv.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I've had bipolar my whole life and not giving a fuck, or just
it went undiagnosed except for your
every single. And I've done. Listen, I tried counting up like getting a real number of how many gigs I've done. It's in the thousands. And I don't think there's ever been one gig where I haven't felt a panic attack, at least at the beginning of it, and definitely want to check out like halfway through it and all that stuff. But at the end of it, I'm on a high. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. And I think with like with the bipolar disorder, it's depending on how low the depression goes, because the mania, I mean, feels great. You're rocking, you're rolling, you're creative, you're the funniest person in the room, smartest person in the room, and feel great. So nothing's wrong. I mean, you don't.
So I must be manic all the time then, because I have that feeling constantly.
There you go. You're one of the lucky ones. Yeah,
that's called delusional.
Yeah, that is.
It's a different thing altogether.
But the anxiety. I talked about the bipolar and the mania was bad, and the depression was awful. But the anxiety was probably the worst because it was constant. It was always there, and it was. I used to go into the bathroom like at a function. If anybody else was in the bathroom, I just couldn't pee. I'd go up to the urinal. I just couldn't pee. I just couldn't. So I'd go outside and wait for 5 minutes or 10 or half an hour until it was empty. And then
what's empty, the bathroom or your bladder?
Bathroom. Yeah.
I have a tip on emptying a bathroom. As you walk in, just say, "I'm going to need a plunger." And that will.
I'll try that. I'll try that.
Or just say, "I'm having trouble peeing. Can somebody give me a hand?"
There you go. Yeah. But my wife and I went to a movie and a few weeks ago, and I went into the bathroom and went up to urinal pee, and all of a sudden I realized how far I'd come, and I stepped back from the urinal and I went, "Yes, yes, yes." Everybody in the bathroom looked at me like I was crazy.
That's awesome.
I said, "No, not anymore."
Somebody there was a game called Earthquake. I don't know. You see a friend at a urinal and you just grab them by the shoulders and go, "Earthquake!" And
I think that's just an excuse to touch men while they're peeing.
Yeah, Matt, what are you doing, man? You weirdo.
I didn't do it. I'm just saying somebody.
That sounded like a first-hand experience in my book.
I think it was Casey Affleck that did it he thought he was doing it to somebody he knew, and it turned out the guy wasn't him. Like so I just saw him from the back and thought it was his friend, and then did the earthquake thing, and the guy was like, "What the fuck, man?" So yeah, all that good to know if you're in a public restroom.
Yeah, exactly. Need a plunger. That'll clear it.
Now, the lady I had on last night, she battled with depression her whole life, and she was the title was "How to Battle Depression Without Medication," and I felt like it was important to have a second disclaimer on the program saying that there are different things work for different people. Just because she's able to do it without medication doesn't mean you will. But just, I do feel like medication is overprescribed, but I'm not a professional. And what do I know about how to deal with it? But she seems, for all intents and purposes, to be cured of her depression. Like, it's not a thing she deals with anymore. She's gone through the talking cure, the cognitive therapy. She's done meditation, exercise, change of diet, all those kinds of things, and it seems to be working for her. Have you ever tried going that route, the holistic and therapy and all that kind of stuff?
I did most of my life from my teen years, and it started coming until I finally got diagnosed. I mean, I spent all my time trying to deal with it myself. I think there's different kinds of depression. I believe there's one chemical imbalance in the brain, and that's where the meds make a difference.
Right.
And the other one is more situational and comes and goes and isn't as dark, because the darkness of a true dark depression is like Stephen was talking about, it's indescribable. It's It's awful. So I think there's both. For some folks, medication is really important, and for me, it just, like I said, it keeps the downs from going too down. I still slide, but not near where I used to. But yeah, I mean, essentially, I tried everything. I mean, everything when I was, self-medicated. I mean, cocaine was great in the 80s. And on and on and on. I tried everything, but until I got diagnosed late, and part of it was the self-diagnosis. Part of it was my wife saying, "Hey, this isn't, you need help." And she was, she's a hero in my story. I mean, we lost everything. Like I said, we had 14 lost years, and homeless with the family, and she didn't leave. She stayed with me, and she stayed with us, and she held things together, and she's a hero in my story.
I'm just curious if there's, I would like to hear from one married couple where the wife has not said to the husband, "You need help."
Regardless of the man's status.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody who's ever had the title wife, even in homosexual marriages, if you wear the title wife, you've said to the husband at some point, "You need help."
Yeah. And part of the problem, one of the challenges I have with, actually having some mental health challenges is it gives my wife ammunition. She if you're depressed today, Dave. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Okay, I'm depressed, or whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't until you mentioned it. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it help you? Does the type of people that you surround yourself make a difference to the way you feel?
It's interesting. I work with a lot of folks that have mental illness. Part of what I do, I run a small mental health nonprofit, and being around other folks who are, where we are, where I am, people come in, we accept them for where they're at, and it's just a comfortable and safe place. And for people to just be themselves and to accept their situation wherever they're at, that's when I'm most comfortable. I spent so many years pretending. I mean, I pretended to be okay. I tried to work and tried to do things and pretending to be okay, and always, crashed. Just like, and like Stephen, when the depression sinks in, you just crash, and you're stuck in mud, and you can't do anything.
Does it help to know that everybody's fucked up?
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
it does. Yeah.
Because I think we're all very broken people, and I think as a society we are, whatever the factors are, and there's lots more factors now. We're inventing things to make us crazier every day. But I'm coming back to this Terrence Howard thing because Professor Dave did an analysis, and basically it's much stronger than Neil deGrasse's or Eric Weinstein's, and he was basically calling everybody out. But he was saying they should have been really harsh with this guy and humiliated him on his ridiculous ideas. And I'm like, no, what should happen, what really needs to happen is we need to recognize that his insanity, his mental health issue is something that I perceive as going on with everybody, and that everybody feels so invisible because only certain people, the pretty people, the important people, the powerful people, the famous people, their voice matters in the world, and the rest of us feel so fucking invisible that we have to kind of cling on to flat earth or 1 × 1 = 2, and just to make us feel like we know something you don't know. We're special in some way. And I think that's I think it's epidemic in the world today.
Matt, do you think that comes from generations of inbreeding? Because we all came from Adam and Eve, which means we're all like product of inbreeding down. And, you think that's what caused all this mental illness?
I'm waiting for the punchline.
No, I'm just, I'm waiting for Matt's reaction.
Who are these people you're talking about?
Adam and Eve? Not Adam and Steve. Adam and Eve.
I never met them. I don't think it's inbred because I'm not from the same lineage as you. Ugh. I feel so dirty now. But it is inspiring to see somebody who actually is like they cured. And I don't know that she truly is cured, but last night was, wow. This is somebody who lived with it since she was 13 years old. She's going to celebrate her 50th birthday this month and seems to have her depression in the past. That's hopeful. And, hope is a good thing.
Yeah, and I think, I believe and since the comedy and with the comedy, I believe you can change the pathways in your brain. And so something that will trigger and start with anxiety or start with depression or have flashbacks, there's, I think, cognitive behavioral therapy, and the comedy, just saying, okay, where's the humor in that? That's just one way to change that pathway.
I'm not sure of what do psychotropic medications do when the question of do you need help arises? I don't know. You want to take a shot at that? Listen, because earlier I was thinking, how would I know if I had bipolar depression? I've been pretty much stoned for the last 55
years. Goodbye, Govs.
Oh, yes. I'll say goodbye to Govs. Actually, I was going to make a new policy of waiting to 10:59 to say goodbye to Govs because there's obviously from the last